Well, hello class. Throughout this course, we have learned so many things about leadership, from the interviews, from the YouTube videos, mostly from the interactions between you and the class and your peer students, and finally, hopefully, from me coordinating and moderating the resources that are needed to talk about authentic leadership. Authentic leadership has a lot of different components attached to it. Authentic leadership is about transparency. It's about having the ability to be able to be accountable to yourself first and then to others transparently. So yeah, I'm using the word transparency a lot, but what is it really about? You can beat it till the cows come home. You can talk about transparency, and it's nothing more than a word until you really live it. And sometimes, as an effective leader, with transparency comes a compromised ego. Yeah, that's right, a compromised ego. Sometimes we have to sit back and say, I don't have all the answers. And I do have questions. And sometimes those questions are going to come from the people that report to you. And sometimes those questions are going to come from you looking for the people that report to you for some assistance. That's right, leaders can't do it all alone. In fact, leaders can't do anything without their subordinates. We looked at the case study about Carol and Bill way back earlier in the course. And we found out that Carol let her own ego get in the way of considering Bill to be more of an opponent than an ally, actually even a mentor to Carol. She was using her entitlement of 29 years as a validity to have all the answers and know what to do before reaching out for assistance. That's right, she never got feedback. She never wanted feedback. You need to understand and learn that leaders do not always have the answer. Often, they don't have a lot of answers, but they probe, they find out, they encourage their team to help them out, and they don't depend on their team to do their work for them. They depend on themselves to do their work based on how you support the work of others. In life, you're going to find out that there are so many people who you would never think would be leaders. Suddenly they emerge. They come out of nowhere and they take control, but not control like I'm going to control you. They take control of the situation and they own it. Not because someone tells them to own it, they just own it. They're responsible for it. There is no magic formula that makes someone own a situation unless some boss says to you, you got to do this or else. That's not the way leaders operate. Leaders own things because they want to make a difference, not because they want to impress anyone else but because they want to show themselves more than anyone else, that they're up to the task. Good leaders set good examples. They don't just talk about what they're going to do, they do it. They don't throw anyone under the bus intentionally. And very, very few times they throw anyone under the bus unintentionally, although it could happen sometimes. Just because you make a mistake, you screw up. The first part of being a really good leader is to, number one, admit you're not perfect. And number two, admit that you try to be perfect. But let everyone know you can never be perfect. That sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? Absolutely. You try to make something happen, even though sometimes the odds and the obstacles in your way are next to impossible. And sometimes you're going to get, as we state, as Ken Strong and I, when we wrote Leadership as a Choice, we talk about the horizon paradox. The closer you get to the horizon, the further away it pulls from you, ever so slightly, that you never reach it. The lesson that teaches us about leadership is that it's not an ends to a means. And it's not the means to an end. Because there is no ending. It keeps evolving as you get better and better and better. You can always continue to improve. So you strive to get to the horizon, but you never get there. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But there is a lot of enthusiasm. There is a lot of hope. One of the things my co-author talks about is true leadership is giving hope. Giving hope that you can accomplish something through your own efforts. It takes time, it takes perseverance. And hopefully throughout this course, you learn from each other and from the people that I've interviewed, the many wonderful people from all different forms of life, that there is a definitive method of reaching higher level needs beyond just a paycheck, beyond just the feeling of I feel safe. I'm talking about Maslow's pyramid. Beyond the feeling of wanting to belong, because God knows that as you continue to move to the top of the organization, if you do, it gets lonely up there sometimes. But on your way up the ladder, you don't throw anyone under the bus when you're coming down. They'll reach out to help you when you need that help. Be a good mentor to others. Try to build a legacy in whatever you do. Show others that they are capable of doing what you did, and maybe even more, if they really try. And most of all, if nothing else, always be true to yourself. If you're not, people will be able to see right through that. They'll know that the person they are talking to is just doing it to satisfy their ego. Ego means a lot of things to a lot of people. But if you're a true leader, your ego is the measurement of your self-worth. And that self-worth is dependent not only on your successes, but the successes of others along the way. So I hope you really enjoyed what you learned in this class. I want you to reflect about the many things that we talked about. And I want you to practice every day to make a difference by doing something a little bit differently than you did. But not just for you, but for the greater good. And then you will discover the leader in you. It was a pleasure serving you as your teacher in this class. Please keep in touch. Professor DeChico.